Welcome to an extraordinary event in space exploration that has just unfolded. It's the 18th of April, 2026, and NASA's Deep Space Network has made a groundbreaking announcement about an object known as 3I Atlas. Just 12 hours ago, this mysterious interstellar object executed a maneuver that challenges everything we know about physics. To give you an idea of the magnitude, there is a 0.000014% chance that this is just a natural occurrence. But what if it isn't? At first glance, this might seem like another routine event involving a comet. But then 3I Atlas took action that no one predicted. It didn't just pass through the solar system or intercept a comet. It did something extraordinary. It deliberately decelerated, matched velocities, and burrowed into the frozen core of Comet C2026A1. Imagine this: an interstellar object traveling at a speed of 87 kilometers per second, suddenly slowing down to perfectly match a distant comet, 240 million kilometers away. This kind of precision requires intention, control, and incredible engineering. NASA confirmed that the trajectory of 3I Atlas shifted by 14.2 degrees just to achieve this collision course. The James Webb Space Telescope's NICAM instrument recorded a massive thermal bloom right after the impact. 3 independent sources, NASA, ESA's Gaia spacecraft, and the ALMA array in Chile, verified the data. This isn't a fluke, it's real. But the question remains, what could have made 3I Atlas perform such a precise action? Think about this for a moment. We are talking about an object from outside our solar system, behaving in ways that our models simply cannot explain. The laws of physics, as we understand them, suggest that an object traveling at such high velocities cannot just slow down and change course with this level of precision. And yet, here we are, with undeniable evidence pointing to a highly calculated, purposeful event. This isn't random. This isn't something we can easily dismiss. The 14.2-degree shift in trajectory is staggering in itself. Objects in space don't just decide to alter their course in such a controlled manner, not without some external influence or advanced technology. The timing of this event and the method by which 3I Atlas changed its path is indicative of something far more sophisticated than a simple rogue comet. It's almost as though it was programmed to do this. Now, consider the odds of this happening naturally. The likelihood of a natural event causing such a precise maneuver is almost non-existent. This is what makes this discovery so intriguing. It challenges our understanding of space and celestial mechanics, and it forces us to ask deeper questions about the nature of interstellar objects. The precise measurements captured by the James Webb Space Telescope offer a clue into just how intentional this event was. The thermal bloom observed indicates that this was not a simple collision. It suggests that the object was not only interacting with the comet, but that it was using the impact to generate energy, potentially for some other purpose. The thermal signature left behind is something we typically associate with artificial systems, not natural space phenomena. And so, as the data continues to flood in from various space agencies, the question remains, what is 3I Atlas and what does it want? It is no longer simply a matter of scientific curiosity, it has become a matter of urgency. This is not just another cosmic event. This is a discovery that could change the way we view interstellar objects, space travel, and perhaps even life beyond our planet. To understand just how remarkable this event is, let's look at the physics. Normally, when two objects collide in space, the result is chaotic: fragmentation, kinetic energy release, and often complete destruction. But 3I Atlas didn't shatter the comet. Instead, it nested inside. The telemetry shows that the object used the comet's icy outer shell as a shield, melting its way into the interior rather than causing an explosion. The temperature stabilized almost immediately, within just 20 minutes, suggesting an artificial heat sink mechanism that can't be explained by natural processes. The implications of this are staggering. It suggests that 3I Atlas is not just a rogue rock from another star system, but rather something much more advanced. This object acts like a probe, seeking a host, using the comet as a protective shield as it heads toward the inner solar system. But that's only the beginning of what we're discovering. 3I Atlas was first detected on the 4th of January 2026, and at first it seemed like a standard frozen chunk of space debris. However, its dense core signature raised some early questions. What happened next is crucial. Just 2 days before the nesting event, on the 16th of April, 2026, the object began emitting a highly directional magnetic field. NASA detected a sudden thermal venting. This wasn't the typical comet tail. It was a directed thrust. The ESA and KEK Observatory in Hawaii confirmed the same result. 3 independent sources, all confirming that this object is actively steering itself. What does this mean for the object's purpose? Imagine a spacecraft equipped with highly precise thrusters, intentionally directing its movements across vast stretches of space. This level of control is not something that we see in natural objects like comets. It suggests that 3I Atlas has been engineered to perform with extreme accuracy. When scientists began analyzing the trajectory, it became clear that this was no ordinary rock. Let's pause for a moment to put this in perspective. Imagine a bullet fired from a rifle traveling at supersonic speeds. Now, picture that bullet suddenly using tiny thrusters to slow down and perfectly lodge itself inside a single snowflake falling from the sky. That's what 3I Atlas just did across millions of kilometers of space. The precision involved in this maneuver is mind-blowing, but it doesn't stop there. On the 17th of April, 2026, a second anomaly appeared. The object's velocity dropped by exactly 4.7 kilometers per second, and the odds of this happening naturally are almost zero. Normally, when a comet outgasses, it starts to wobble or even break apart, but not 3I Atlas. It maintained a perfectly stable trajectory with its heavy metal core pointing directly at Comet C 2026A1. This kind of stability is unheard of. No natural object behaves in this way. And then, on April 18, at precisely 4:12 UTC, we witnessed something unprecedented. As 3I Atlas made contact with the comet, it didn't destroy it. Instead, it released a burst of microwave radiation, effectively melting a tunnel 400 meters deep into the comet's crust. This is not just a collision, it's a controlled operation. But why? Why would 3I Atlas go to such lengths to perform a highly calculated nesting operation instead of simply passing through the solar system or making a random impact? It's this precision, this ability to carefully calculate every move, that raises more questions than answers. It suggests that 3I Atlas is far from a random object drifting through space. It has a purpose, and that purpose seems to be unfolding right before our eyes. As we continue to examine the data, the next step in this unfolding mystery is even more baffling. After 3I Atlas burrowed into the comet, the microwave emissions ceased abruptly. The surrounding water ice and frozen carbon dioxide immediately froze again, effectively sealing the object inside. From a purely astrophysical standpoint, this doesn't make sense. You can't have a high-velocity impact that results in a perfectly sealed, insulated core without a massive release of energy. The physics behind this process simply doesn't add up. If an object like 3I Atlas, weighing 33 billion tons, were to strike a comet at its high velocity of 87 kilometers per second, the kinetic energy would be enormous. It should have vaporized both the comet and the object itself. But instead, 3I Atlas absorbed its own kinetic energy and used it to power the microwave melting process. This isn't just an anomaly, it's a complete breakdown of our understanding of thermodynamics and energy transfer in space. Even Dr. Abby Lowe from Harvard, a well-known proponent of the idea that some interstellar objects may be artificial, admitted that the telemetry from this event is unlike anything we've ever seen before. When experts at this level look at the data and state that the thermal management involved defies standard models, it's clear that something extraordinary is happening. We're not just dealing with a space rock here. We're witnessing an event that challenges the very laws of physics. Now consider this. 3I Atlas didn't just burrow into the comet, it seemingly put on a spacesuit. It used the comet as a protective shell, hollowing out the center and sealing itself inside. What could this mean? The simplest answer is that the object is using the comet as a shield, possibly to protect itself from the harsh conditions of deep space as it approaches the inner solar system. But the more complex and unsettling possibility is that it's preparing for something much more significant. It's building itself a shelter, and it's doing so with incredible precision and advanced technology. The fact that the comet's internal temperature stabilized at a near absolute zero temperature, 2.7 Kelvin, suggests that 3I Atlas has somehow created a cryogenic shield. This is not a natural occurrence. This is highly controlled artificial behavior. This cryogenic shield isn't just a coincidence, it's a deliberate act, perhaps part of a larger survival strategy as the object prepares for something in the inner solar system. But what could it be preparing for? At this point, we have to ask ourselves, what is 3I Atlas really? The data suggests that it's not just a rogue rock from another star system. It's acting like something far more sophisticated, a probe, a vessel, or even a weapon. Whatever it is, it's performing actions with a level of control and intent that we haven't seen in any natural object in space. The precision, the engineering, the manipulation of its environment all point to something designed, not random. As we move forward, the next few hours will be critical. Every piece of data that comes in adds more pieces to the puzzle. But we must ask, what happens next? What is 3I Atlas ultimately preparing to do? And why is it acting in such a calculated, deliberate manner? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear, this is no ordinary object. This is something that could change the course of space exploration and our understanding of the universe itself. As we dive deeper into the data, it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore the fact that we are witnessing an event unlike anything we've ever encountered in space. On the 18th of April 2026, something even more strange occurred. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, in a rare move, detected a new, unexpected data point that was not predicted by any astrophysicist. The icy shell of Comet C2026A1, which had been acting as a protective host for 3I Atlas, began to harden at a staggering rate. In just 1 hour, the comet's structural density increased by a massive 400%. This is an impossible feat, one that defies all our models of how comets should behave. Normally, the density of a comet's outer shell would remain stable, but the data was undeniable. Multiple independent sources confirmed this anomaly, including NASA's Deep Space Network and ESA's Gaia spacecraft. It's as though the comet was being reinforced from the inside out, as if someone or something was actively altering its structure. Think about the magnitude of this change. The comet's outer shell, previously composed of icy materials, began to morph into something much more dense and impenetrable. The process seems to have been triggered by 3I Atlas, which is now clearly using the comet as a platform to alter its own surroundings in an unprecedented way. What does this mean? It suggests that the object is not just a passive traveler, but an active participant in its own survival, using the comet as both a shield and a construction site. To make this even more puzzling, the temperature of the object's core plummeted to exactly 2.7 Kelvin, which is essentially absolute zero, the temperature of the cosmic microwave background radiation. This extreme cold is crucial. It's not just a random fluctuation, it's a controlled condition, created with purpose. By freezing the surrounding comet's water and carbon dioxide to this extreme degree, 3I Atlas is essentially manufacturing a shield, an ultra-dense layer of ice, around itself. This kind of process, producing a phase of ice that is normally only found under immense pressure deep within gas giants like Neptune, is impossible by natural standards. So, what is the object doing with this newly created armor? Why is it going to such lengths to create such a structure? The most logical answer seems to be that it's preparing for something significant, possibly an event that requires extreme protection. The fact that it has hardened the comet's shell to this degree, and is using it as a shield, suggests that it anticipates an upcoming challenge or threat in the inner solar system. But the question remains, what is it preparing for? Let's step back and look at the probabilities. The chance that 3I Atlas could perfectly match the velocity of a local comet, C2026A1, is already astronomically low, around 0.00001%. The probability of it impacting the comet without destroying both objects is even smaller, at 0.000000005%. And then, to add to the impossibility, it somehow generated ultra-dense ice armor from the comet's core. This sequence of events is so statistically improbable that it feels as if the odds are too low to even consider. But here we are, faced with the undeniable reality of this impossible event. We've never seen anything like this in recorded history. There is simply no natural explanation for how all of these events could align so perfectly. And that's what makes this discovery so monumental. As experts continue to analyze the data, it's becoming clearer that we're dealing with something far beyond our current understanding of space. We may be looking at a piece of technology, not a random space rock. Something engineered, something intentional. As we approach the most critical data point in this unfolding mystery, let's break down the significance of what we've learned so far. After all the anomalies, after the impossibly precise nesting event, the structural reinforcement of the comet, and the creation of an artificial cryogenic shield, the most shocking discovery yet is what happened at 1530 UTC on the 18th of April 2026. The European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope detected a truly unexpected event. Comet C2026A1, which had been silently housing 3I Atlas, suddenly ignited. This wasn't just any ignition, it was the sustained acceleration of the comet at a rate of 4.2 meters per square second, confirmed by NASA's Deep Space Network. This defies everything we know about cometary behavior. The comet, which had been expected to follow the gravitational pull of the Sun like any other object in our solar system, is now completely off course. It is no longer obeying the normal laws of celestial mechanics. It is being actively steered by 3I Atlas, which has somehow transformed the comet into a functioning spacecraft. We're witnessing the unprecedented transformation of a 1-2 kilometer wide comet into an advanced, heavily shielded spacecraft controlled by an object that has been maneuvering with extreme precision. It's utilizing the comet's vast reserves of frozen water and carbon dioxide, converting them into superheated plasma and venting them through the tunnel it previously melted. This process is essentially turning the comet into a propulsion system with a targeted trajectory aimed directly toward the inner solar system. This is not a natural outgassing event. This is an engineered process, an artificial system being activated by 3I Atlas. The comet's sudden acceleration its complete disregard for gravitational norms, and the precision of the plasma venting all point to the fact that we're dealing with something intentionally directed. Now, let's consider the most chilling possibility. 3I Atlas is piloting the comet toward a specific destination. The fact that the comet's trajectory has shifted by exactly 3.14 degrees is no coincidence. These kinds of movements, this kind of precision, are not random. This is deliberate, calculated, and directed. This could be a probe, a dormant vessel from another civilization, or something else entirely. If 3I Atlas is, indeed, an artificial object, it's not just using the comet as a temporary shield or vessel, it's actively steering it towards something. What could this destination be? And why the inner solar system? It's no longer a question of whether this is a natural event or not. It's clear now that we're facing a complex maneuver, likely engineered by a force beyond our comprehension. But it doesn't stop there. What happens next will determine everything. The data is still coming in, and every hour brings us closer to understanding exactly what 3I Atlas is planning. With the comet now accelerating and its trajectory altering, there's a sense of urgency that we can't ignore. The stakes are higher than ever. As we near the conclusion of this unprecedented series of events, one fact is crystal clear. The future of space exploration, and potentially the future of humanity, hinges on what happens next. In the hours following the ignition of Comet C2026A1, NASA and ESA have confirmed that the comet's trajectory is now actively being steered toward the inner solar system by 3I Atlas. The object's transformation from a dormant space rock to a fully functional spacecraft is a game changer, one that challenges everything we thought we knew about celestial bodies. What we're witnessing is not merely an anomaly, it's a deliberate, engineered event. The comet, once a harmless chunk of frozen rock, is now a vehicle carrying an unknown force, perhaps a probe, or even something more sinister. And as 3I Atlas continues to manipulate its path, the question on everyone's mind is, where is it going? What is its final destination? The data is coming in fast, and every new observation only adds to the complexity of the situation. The comet's core, once a stable mass of ice and dust, is now actively generating plasma and accelerating at a rate that should be impossible under natural conditions. The object is not just riding the comet, it's controlling it. And the implications of this are staggering. If this comet, under the control of 3I Atlas, is heading toward a specific target within our solar system, we need to ask, what is the object preparing for? What is its mission? The fact that the trajectory is so precise, so carefully calculated, suggests that this is no random occurrence. This is deliberate, and it could have a profound impact on our understanding of space and our place in the cosmos. As the data continues to come in, experts across the world are scrambling to make sense of it. But one thing is certain, the precision of 3I Atlas's movements, the technological advancements it has displayed, and the sheer impossibility of its actions all point to a single conclusion. We are dealing with something far beyond our current understanding of space and technology. Whether this is a probe from an alien civilization, a dormant artificial intelligence waking up, or something even more unthinkable, it's clear that the stakes have never been higher. As we continue to monitor the object's progress, the urgency of the situation becomes more apparent. The question is no longer whether this event is significant, it's how significant it will be. In a matter of hours, we will have the critical data needed to determine the comet's final destination, and that will reveal everything we need to know about 3I Atlas and its true purpose. The clock is ticking. We are witnessing history in the making, and the answers we uncover in the coming hours will forever change our understanding of space, technology, and the very fabric of our universe. If you're as intrigued as we are by the mystery surrounding 3I Atlas and its incredible journey, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the latest updates. We'll continue to bring you real-time analysis of this extraordinary event as it unfolds. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay curious and keep exploring the cosmos with us.